Okay, so today we're going to deal with graphing functions. So yesterday we dealt with evaluating functions, and today is graphing. And the nice part about graphing is it's really similar to evaluating. And we even had an example in yesterday that was kind of a graphing function thing that kind of got snuck in there. So when you're graphing a function, all you do is you make an XY table. These are my X's, these are my Y's. Now, when you're actually graphing stuff, you get to pick whatever X values that you want. So these X values, -5, 0, and 5, you get to pick. For this worksheet today, and for this assignment today, I'm not going to let you pick. I'm going to pick the values for you to make them nicer for you. So I'm going to pick the values. But normally you get to pick whatever values you want and plug them in for X. So in this case, I picked -5. Whoops, need my pen still. I picked -5, I picked 0, and I picked 5. And so we are going to use those and figure out what answers I would get. So if I throw in -5, I have 4/5, -5, plus 4. Now a lot of you probably are like, oh gosh, we have fractions. How am I going to deal with these fractions? Well, if you have a fraction and you're going to multiply it, you need this thing to also be a fraction. And if you think about how could I take -5 and make it into a fraction, well, if I put -5/1, -5 divided by 1 is still -5. So we're good. So because this thing is a fraction right here, I would like this thing to also be a fraction, so let's put that over 1. And now I'm going to multiply straight across. So what I will end up getting is -20/5 plus 4. Well, -20/5 would just be -4. And -4 plus 4 would be 0. So we did a ton of work right there. But this whole thing, if I erase all that work that I just spent all that time doing, this whole thing should just become 0. So I'm going to write that in. We'll do the same thing with the next one, so I'll plug in 0. This one, luckily, is easier to do because 0 times 4/5 is 0, and 0 plus 4 would be 4, so there's my next point. I'll do the same thing with 5. Again, we'd convert it to 5/1 plus 4. That would be 20/5 plus 4, or 4/4, which would give me 8. Because 20 divided by 5 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. So those are my points. Now I'm just going to graph these. These are my X's, these are my Y's. So I would go over -5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'd go up 0. So there's my first point. For this one, I would go over 0 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And for this point right here, I would go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So about right here somewhere. And if we connect the dots, we see that this, for me, would form a straight line. That's how we're going to kind of graph everything today. We're going to take whatever function that we've been given, we're going to plug in these values, we'll get some points, and then we'll plot the points, and we'll see what kind of shapes that they make.